Hey y'all, welcome to Pleiadian Point of View. I'm Peyton with Peyton Energetics, and I'm a Pleiadian channel and starseed coach. So in today's video, the Pleiadians wanted to chat with us about something that is going on in the current energies. Now, as y'all know, the energies have been very unusual lately. Especially if you have been keeping your eye on the Schumann resonance, you know that it has been doing some very unusual things. And when energies get intense like this, they can have certain side effects. They cause certain things to happen that we humans may not understand what is causing it. So the Pleiadians wanted to talk about one of these side effects that is happening as a result of the current energies and help us navigate it more easily. But before we jump into talking about today's topic, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. Now, as we were just mentioning, the energies have been off the charts lately, especially if you have been watching the Schumann resonance. It is spiking, blacking out, going white, doing all kinds of fascinating things. And we always know that when we see surges like this in the planetary energies, that it's going to show up in our life somehow, that we're going to feel it in the body, we're going to see manifestations of it. So one thing that is happening in the current energies is that we're experiencing surges of emotion. And this is showing up for a lot of us as what you may think of as mood swings. So you may be going about your day in a perfectly fine mood and get hit with a very strong wave of negative energy, or just energy that doesn't feel good. You may be going about your day and get hit with a wave of fear energy or anxiety, something that you can't figure out what happened, where it came from, if it even belongs to you. And this is a function of the energies that we are moving through right now, because what these energies are doing when they hit our energy field is it's causing anything we're holding on to that is denser to pop to the surface. And this can kind of catch us off guard. It can happen very, very quickly, and it can be fairly dramatic. So the Pleiadians noticed that this was concerning a lot of us, that we were getting a little stressed out about what was happening, where were these surges of negative emotion coming from. And so one of the things that is contributing to this is the energies that we are moving through, because a lot of us are still holding a lot of negative emotion frozen in our energy field. And what happens when energy is frozen in our energy field is it's not moving properly, which means we don't necessarily realize it's there. So one of the purposes of these elevated energies hitting the planet right now is that they are liquefying all that frozen emotion, which means it is popping to the surface in us things we didn't know we were holding. So it may be popping to the surface things like a lot of unconscious anger. We may not think of ourselves as angry people. We may have had nothing happen to us on a particular day to make us feel angry. Yet out of the blue, we get hit with a wave of intense anger or intense fear or intense guilt. And it can be really confusing to the ego mind to understand what is happening, because these energy waves are coming at us kind of out of the blue. So what the Pleiadians wanted to help us understand is that, first of all, this is very common. This is what these energies are designed to do. And so what happens is it pops up and presents itself as a random wave of emotion. So one of the best ways that we can move through this is, first of all, not panic when this happens, because this can catch us off guard and be a little alarming, especially when it's some of our denser survival emotions. So when you have waves of fear coming up, or hatred, or guilt and shame, some of these things that are those really yucky feeling energies. When those pop to the surface, we can stress out about them a little bit. So one of the best ways to move through these energies when you get hit with these waves that come out of the blue is to just let yourself sit with it. Now, you don't have to roll around in it all day. These are not telling you to play with it for 3 hours. But if you just sit there and allow it to move through you, it's going to move through you very quickly. It is when we get stressed about it, start to fight it, start to resist it, that it stays for a much longer time. So one of the best ways to move through these surges of energy is to just sit for about 30 to 45 seconds with whatever the energy is. And just acknowledge to yourself, hey, I'm feeling a lot of fill in the blank. And when you do that and just allow yourself to feel that energy, whatever the universe is presenting to you, what happens is it dissolves very quickly. But if we hold on to it for longer than about 45 seconds, what happens is we get the ego mind involved. And the ego mind does what the mind does. It tries to match the emotion with a story. So it's going to go back and tell us everything that's going on in our life that we should be worried about, or that we should feel guilty about, or that we should feel angry about. But that is just the mind playing with the energy. So we want to keep the mind out of it. The mind is not helpful to this process. So the easiest way to move through these energies, if you notice this happening to you, now it's not going to happen to everyone, but I'm seeing this popping up in a lot of people. So if you notice that you are getting hit with random waves of what seems like negative energy, negative emotion, negative feeling, if you just let yourself sit with it for about 45 seconds, keeping the mind out of it. We don't want the mind to start playing with it like a dog with a bone. If you do this for just about 45 seconds, what happens is it will dissolve very quickly. Only when we start to tell stories around it that we really start to make a meal out of it. And then it just hangs around a lot longer. But this is what these energies are designed to do. It's to show us what are we holding on to that we're not necessarily aware of. That's why these energies can sometimes seem to be blindsiding us, because we don't realize that we're still holding a lot of guilt energy or shame energy. But these energies that are hitting the planet are going to dig up anything that is still frozen within us. This is just an opportunity that the universe is giving you to look at these energies. As we always like to say, you gotta sit with it, you gotta own it, it is part of you. But you only have to do that for less than a minute. And once you do that, you have acknowledged it, you have looked it in its eyes, and then it can be released. In fact, if you actually try to hold on to just the emotion or just the feeling, you'll find you can't hold on to it very long unless the mind gets involved. So this is a great way to move through these waves of funky energy if you are one of the many who are noticing these in the energies right now, that you just have what seem to be a ping-ponging emotional base right now. So if you are one of the many who is noticing that your emotions seem to be all over the place these days, you have the energies to thank for a lot of that. But if you just sit with it for about a minute, and let it move through you. Scooping it up into your heart is always a great practice to do with it as well. Sending love to that part of you that feels that emotion, that fear, that guilt, that shame. The energy will move through you very quickly. This is something we're going to see a lot more of as the energies continue to get stronger. So the Pleiadians just wanted to give you a little guidance on how to navigate this, so you don't get pulled under by it. So that is what the Pleiadians had for you in today's POV. Don't forget, hit the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. And if you need a little extra help with all of this, click the link in the description to work with me one-on-one. I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.